Now I'm recording. Good.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
We need some sort of intro music.
I'm gonna put something together. In fact, I gotta play an audio clip for you that I put together.
Sweet. Has it got some screams in it?
No, but it's a distorted track from a movie, and you gotta tell me what it's from.
Oh,
okay?
cool.
Let's see. Let me open this.
It's one of the things I like about zombies music. He always has like screams and stuff.
Yeah.
Horror movies in
Yep, sample.
All right, so let's talk about Exorcist season 1. We all watched the whole thing now.
it. Yeah, I actually just finished the season Monday night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I should have waited a little bit.
And what are your thoughts about the reveal?
Well, yeah, I kind of gave that away sort of
you
last
did.
time.
But you read about it before you got to
yeah, I didn't get it.
And the sad thing was is that it didn't let me know it was a spoiler, and so I was reading. I was like, oh shit, that's a spoiler. But it was pretty cool how
right.
when you found out, because if I wouldn't have read that, I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Yeah, and you go through the whole movie or the whole series kind of not even really knowing, and then near the end it's like, oh, holy crap.
And then it plays a huge role
Yeah.
in the last like 4 episodes maybe.
Yeah.
The reason that the demon is so persistent in his pursuit of this particular child is, he's
Trying
unfinished business.
Yep, trying to get to mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really great. And it was really great the part where you think like everything's kind of better, and then it's the mom and she just grabs her by the neck and
Yeah.
knocks her
Yeah,
down the steps.
that shocked the I don't want to say I saw it coming, but
Yeah.
there was part of me I'm like, there's like 4 episodes left. This can't be it. Like something,
Yeah.
And then I thought as soon as she did it, I was like, yeah, in the original Exorcist, the demon jumped out of Reagan and didn't go into the priest, and that's
Into
why
the priest,
and that's
right.
why he threw himself down the steps.
Yeah.
I guess it's something that happens. Like, it's kind of like a virus. It jumps out of one dying host and into another one.
You kind of got the hint though, because remember, like prior to that, she was like, "Oh, we're gonna move, we're gonna leave," and then all of a sudden, no, we can stay around.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of like that demon possessed Gina Davis. Like she was, I mean, most of the show I was like, she looks old. She used to be pretty hot. I mean, and then I was like, but then when she got that demon in her, I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, she throughout the beginning, I was just like, that's not the same girl that was in The Fly.
No,
It's very different.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and then I liked the secondary story, like the kind of like all the demons plotting to take out
the Pope.
I think my only thing about that was like, I mean, yes, the Pope is the bigwig of the Catholic Church, but their plot was that they were going to kill the Pope and like usher in like this new hell
Yeah,
or so
I mean-
hell. I'm like, not many people are going to care, really.
Yeah.
Yep, somebody will take his place, right? Life
was
goes
like-
on.
That was like my big thing. I'm like, I enjoyed the show and I thought it was scary, but that right there, I'm like,
Maybe
who
they
cares?
just didn't. Maybe they just didn't reveal that after they kill the Pope, they have an imposter who will be the next Pope.
And then he's gonna like work his.
Well, we don't know because season 2 is out
It's
now,
true,
so
yeah.
we got to start watching season 2. I haven't started yet.
And I haven't seen any like I don't watch regular television. It's on like Fox on like Friday
I've
nights.
seen
so-
advertisements.
Have you?
And it's still the same 2 priests.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing that kind of shocked me was I kind of like lost all hope for the Father Tomas. I was like, this guy's just a weenie. Like, he's checked out really.
Yeah.
And then like the last episode and a half, he finally manned up and
Yeah. It was I thought he was dead when he was up against the wall and Reagan puts the knife in his hand.
Yeah, and he's
he
having
starts dreaming about, using the knife to kill himself. So
Yeah. So was Father Gabriel in his dream? Was that his actual conscience, or was that
I think that was
the demon
yeah.
trying to? Yeah, it was kind of hard because it seemed to me he was trying to lead him in the right direction, but then he was trying to fuck with him too, And I was like, it took me a while to figure out who exactly he was.
Yeah. And I think it was him just trying whatever demon that was trying to influence him was trying to work him over,
Right.
really make him think, and then
Yeah, like when that was kind of nasty when they showed his grandmother's face
Yeah.
because the rats had
Oh,
eaten
man.
out her eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that,
Yeah,
especially for what's supposed to be a television show. You don't typically. I mean, I don't watch late night network television, but I assume that you don't really typically see that. That kind
no,
of stuff.
no, not on Fox. That was on Fox, and just even the he's making the comments like, she died in bed. You let her die alone.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't alone totally. The rats were there.
Yeah. And speaking of rats, here's a nice segue.
Oh, yeah.
1922.
1922. There were a lot of rats in that one too. Right?
Yeah, there was.
So what did you think of that? It's a Stephen King story. It was based on one of his novellas. And when I first watched it, I didn't know, but you guys had to know, knew it was him
Yeah.
when you watched it. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, like it was kind of weird. I think we talked about this the night we watched it. Like it wasn't like a traditional horror per se. It was
Right.
just like, is there a dread? Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
a feeling of dreadfulness throughout the entire. Like if there's a genre in horror that is like,
There is. That's Japanese horror. So Japanese horror really
it's just-
focuses on dread. So
just-
things like The Ring and those old the Japanese horror
there's
movies.
not any bright spot whatsoever
Right.
except death. Really, the final the bright spot is like at least he finally died.
At least it's over in the end.
I mean, you could take that back to Creepshow and some of those short stories.
Yeah.
Especially the one about the meteor. That
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
really a
it's
horror.
true. Yeah,
Wasn't really hard, but this guy's life it was just misery.
and it's like
Yeah, and
meteor shit.
Yeah, it's like another kind of dread. thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Same thing with the cockroach. The last
Yes.
one with the cockroaches.
Oh yeah, that old man, that rich
Yeah.
old guy by
Yeah.
himself. Yeah,
and he was freaking out about cockroaches,
He's a
and
clean
then
freak.
spraying that roach spray all
Yeah.
over the place. Yeah, it was. I mean, from start to finish, like the guy's wife didn't love him, and he was happy just being a farmer, and but he had that side to him where he was being stubborn. He didn't want to sell the land because farming was in his blood or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
So he said, "We're gonna." There's so many different things in that just like made me depressed.
well, I think the whole scenario of 1922
True.
in the heat of summer, part of it was, and then the dead of winter, just the alone
Yeah.
in that house in winter, just that whole environment, the whole storyline, the whole. It's almost like the time and the place was a character also.
True. Yeah. I mean, it was called 1922. So
Yeah.
I mean that was a big part of the story. Because if it took place now, I mean, you
Right,
know,
and you saw like that added to that level of dread because once he got bit by the rat, how he's just letting the wound be infested. Is the dead of winter.
his roof was
his
caved in.
started
It was
caving
snowing in
in.
his house.
Yeah, his barn was falling apart.
Yeah. The other part that I really just I thought about too is like his son. Like he convinced his son the best path forward was to help him kill his mother.
Yeah,
That was the best path forward was to help me kill Ma.
yeah.
And then as soon as it happened, his son, I mean, because it was going to be an easy death. It was going to be an easy death.
Yeah.
And
Instead, it was a giant, messy struggle.
He stabbed her like 5 or 6 times.
more
I
than
think he
that.
slit her
Yeah.
throat like 4 times
Yeah.
until he got
He's
her.
like trying to hack her. Like I'm like, okay, this guy is a farmer, right? Like he slaughters his own like meat. Like didn't he have a sharp knife? Like didn't he know how hard it was going to be?
He
to,
used the
like-
kitchen knife. He has no idea because he doesn't cook. He's just like, oh, let me pick a knife.
So then his kid like as soon as it's over, his kid he lost that kid. Like,
Yeah.
he was lost.
That was enough emotional trauma that he was gone. It was
Yeah.
over.
So then that kid checked out. So then there was the two of them living alone together in the same house in 1922 through. And then the other scene that cracked me up too is the cow. I mean, I don't want to say it cracked me up, but it was just like he just one stupid mistake after another. Like looked like the original plan was to drag her out into the middle of the cornfield
And
somewhere
bury her,
because
yeah.
they dug that big ass hole, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And then it fell through, so they just decided to throw her in the well.
Yeah, yeah. And they say, oh, yeah, how am I going to fill the well and make it sound legit? Oh, let me kill the cow, too.
So the cow walks up on the thing. And it's just like, man, dude. So, I mean, like we discussed then, I mean, back then, that's a business expenditure right there. Like,
Yeah,
it's
a
not
cow,
like,
man.
that's your cow.
Yeah.
You getting your milk from there. You get,
Yep.
you could sell that shit. Like,
Yep.
now you're down a cow just because you were stupid and threw your wife's carcass in the
Yep.
old abandoned well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that whole environment just played a great role into that whole story and made things feel even worse. Like, just,
Yeah.
just the fact that he was, once summer was over and he wasn't harvesting the crops anymore, he was just alone.
He's
There's just nothing.
reading books.
Reading books at night, trying to keep his mind off of the terrible deed that he did.
Yeah, yeah. It was horrible. Yeah, and like I was like, well, at least he could fix the roof, but it was
No, and he didn't. He took out the loan, but never did it.
yeah, all that money.
Yeah, money fixes everything.
Did
It was
not-
good. It
Did
was
not
a
fix
very,
that.
Yeah, it was.
And who was that? We talked about the star that that was.
The guy from Hung
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, crap.
and one of the Punisher movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane, I think,
Yeah.
is his name.
Yeah, and he was. What was that other movie he was in? He was like the. I can't remember, but he was in a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he really looked. I don't know what he did to make himself look that aged, but
Yeah.
he looked really.
He played
bad.
the old man good.
Yeah.
And it, like his wife actually looked probably like 20 years younger than him. She didn't
Yeah.
look like she belonged with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't remember what movie I saw her in prior to that. She
And-
was in something.
And the guy who is the neighbor, the wealthy guy, he
Yep.
was like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. I forget. He was a farmer too, but
yeah, he was a farmer too.
he had a lot of money
Yeah.
for some reason. He was in like other TV shows, like I want to say like Jag or something like that. I remember that guy because he had
Yep.
like really like slate blue like eyes and like I was like I recognize that guy from
He
somewhere.
was in. He was actually in Captain America too. He was one of the in the first Captain America, the first Avenger.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was one of. He was the dude with the bowler hat. I can't remember his name. He's one of the team that worked with Captain America. Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. I like that. That's the second Stephen King Netflix that I watched. Not Dolores Claiborne. Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game. Yeah,
And that was really good.
I haven't watched it yet.
I think it
but
was
I-
actually up.
I
I think it was up for an award or two.
Yeah.
I think.
really. The way I look at it is just I think about the book
Mm-hmm.
was pretty pretty graphic.
That was one of the few I didn't read. I didn't
Yeah.
read Gerald's Game.
Yeah, because when I heard they were making it into a movie, I'm like, how are they going to make that into a movie? That has some really graphic scenes in it.
So, what are your thoughts
On
from
Gerald's
book,
Game,
from book to the movie?
I haven't seen Gerald's Game yet. I'm going to watch it. We'll watch
Okay.
it for the next show, and then we'll talk
Did
about
you
it.
read 1922?
Nope.
You didn't read.
I
that
didn't
one?
read it either.
Nope.
Did you?
No, I didn't read that one.
No.
And I was happy with the quality.
Yeah.
It was almost theater. I mean, it was
It
theater
was
quality.
theater quality. Yeah.
Well, like they said, I don't know if you read the article that was in the news the other day. Netflix, the amount of money that they spent and earned on making shows and movies, they're going to be number 3 ranked in production outside of Disney and
Wow.
Fox.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the thing is, I mean, I think they've raised their fees up slightly. I mean,
Almost 40 cents or so it was.
yeah, but still, it's not like I think it's what, like $10 a month. Or
Yeah,
like,
and the content just keeps coming.
yeah.
So I'm
like,
okay with that.
Yeah, even if they like HBO, I think is like almost
I
20.
paid-
It's 15.
Yeah, I
15 to
pay
20.
$15 a month for that for HBO Now.
And there's some good stuff on there, but I would say that Netflix probably rivals or has overtaken them as far as original content. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have the movie quality.
No, but they have the number of shows that Netflix is cranking out, and the quality of them keeps getting better.
Yeah,
Like if you look at some of the early shows that they released, one company that's not really competing well is Amazon.
yeah.
Their original shows are turning out to be shit.
I've
Yeah.
tried to watch a couple, and
Yeah.
there's one or two that I've enjoyed.
But most of them that I've seen were just like, I don't.
And
it's not
actually, the
good.
one that I really enjoyed, it only got 2 seasons, and then they cut it.
What was that?
Alpha House. It had John Goodman in it and Mark Consuelo.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
they were all like U.S. senators, and they all
Yeah.
like lived together in
Yeah.
a house like in Washington. It was actually like a comedy, but drama-ish.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it got 2 seasons, and then they canceled it.
I actually watched the Golden Globes, and what they did, which I thought was kind of cool, is when something was nominated, they showed what network it was from.
Mm-hmm.
And Netflix and Hulu, I think, were the two big. HBO was in there, but none of your ABC, CBS, I mean, none of those networks were winning anything, and you could sort of see the trend where it's headed. People watching the Netflix, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a little more versatile.
Yeah, I
than
don't
your-
think
your-
I watch a whole lot of network television, really. Maybe
Well, how
like-
many mainstream networks have horror? They don't.
No.
other
Like
than
The
Fox?
Exorcist, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and Fox has a couple things that you may not think of as horror, but they have horror elements to them that make them pretty decent. Legion being one of them. It's
Oh yeah, American Horror Story.
Oh, yeah.
American Horror Story is definitely
And,
horror.
and Scream Queens, the first season of Scream Queens was awesome. The second one sucked.
yeah.
That was one of those things that maybe you should have just left it at one season or figured out a way to keep them in college. But
And actually, they have that taboo I was telling you guys about.
Oh, yeah.
And I seriously, if you get a chance, there's only one season.
I'm gonna write that one
And
down. So I don't
again,
forget.
the budget that went into that, the acting is incredible.
and that's
But I'm not going to spoil anything because it's got a really good story.
Is it,
takes place in England. First season does, like the tea trading company, like the big British power, and this guy steps in and sort of steps on their toes, and they don't like it, and it's kind of neat.
and that's Fox.
Yeah,
Okay.
FX.
FX. I'll check it out, see if it's on Hulu.
Yeah, Fox has FX and
XX.
FXX. Yeah.
And then there's FXM. There's a Fox movie channel too.
Oh, really?
Because they show. Well, I think FXX like 4 days out of the week is just Simpsons, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like the Simpsons like 4 days out of the week.
But yeah, they have one tonight. I mean, there's not a ton I watch on it, but it's up like near the IFC and Sundance channels, so it's like the Fox movie channel. Yeah.
Huh.
But they'll show regular movies.
Yeah. So I wonder how all that stuff's going to be affected by Disney. If the government lets, it looks like Department of Justice is going to look into this because they think it might, be overstepping some antitrust laws there. Because it's going to become a giant media company. It's kind of scary. I mean, I like Disney. I like stuff produced by Fox, and to me, being a super mega comic book nerd, it just makes awesome sense to have all the Fox
Marvel
characters come into the Disney Marvel world.
It does.
However, it's kind of scary because now you've got this giant company that's family oriented.
Well, they said they're going to leave Deadpool alone. Deadpool's going to keep its adult content, which I was.
Yep,
was
they were
happy to
saying
hear.
Deadpool, and they also said that the X-Men world, they would consider it, and it would have to make sense. That's what the Bob Iger said. It would have to make sense to be rated R, which I don't know what that really means, but when you look at Disney and you look at the studios that belong to Disney, they are not known for putting out good rated R movies.
Yeah.
And Fox has done some pretty amazing raunchy comedies and stuff that
Which is kind of weird when you think about it. That Disney is, Fox, you wouldn't think.
Fox say they're family friendly, but they're really about money. Disney is about money, but they're more family focused. Like they won't sell out to do something that's raunchy. Like you're not going to see Disney produce Sausage Party. That may come from Universal or 20th Century Fox, but you're not going to see that from the Disney company.
Yeah, you won't see the castle in the beginning of it.
No, at the beginning of Sausage Party.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, but I'm guessing that they're not going to take away the name 20th Century Fox, so they'll probably keep it as a separate studio and still produce their rated R content under that title or under that name, but it's still owned by Disney. So it makes you kind of wonder when and if Disney finally does own all of that, is it going to change the releases and the types of horror movies or horror TV shows we're seeing on the Fox network or FX or like even things like Archer. Archer's on FX, right?
Yeah.
So would Disney pull Archer? Is there another season of Archer yet? I don't even know.
I don't know. The last one I was a
It's
little
not very
I
good.
was disappointed in it.
Yeah.
Like I liked the idea that they tried to make it like a noir kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
but it just didn't work.
yeah,
well.
I didn't care for
I
it.
wasn't a fan.
I there was I watched every episode, but there was a couple I started like falling asleep during the episode. I was just like,
Well, to me, I think it started to take the dive with once it was the Figgis agency. I mean, it was still funny, but it was starting to take that dive.
yeah,
And then when the kind of noir kind of spy type shit, it was all right. It just wasn't.
yeah. So it may be on its way out,
Yeah,
possibly.
it may have exceeded its freshness date.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was, and the first couple of seasons were hilarious. It was great. That and Rick and Morty have been the two of the funniest animated shows I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, especially the beginning of Archer when it was always, phrasing,
Yeah.
phrasing. It was always great, and then that started to die down a little bit. They got a little less over the edge, and now Rick and Morty is kind of in that place where they're kind of really, really getting kind of wild and crazy with some of their comedy.
There's some good. I don't know if you've. We're kind of getting off topic, but there's a couple of really good ones on Netflix. F is for Family. Have you seen that one?
Yes. Yep.
F is for Family is funny and along those same lines.
Yep. I've been watching Big Mouth.
Big Mouth is hilarious.
Yep.
I watched 2 episodes of BoJack Horseman.
I watched a couple episodes
decent.
of the first season when it
It's
first came out.
decent.
It was okay. Yeah.
I don't like it as much as I like Big Mouth or F is
Right,
for Family,
yeah.
but they're kind of finding some more adult cartoony kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff. So, next thing we want to talk about is Slender Man, the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were making a movie out of it. I knew
Neither did I.
I knew there was a video game.
Yep.
And I knew the story from like 2 years ago, right, where it was like an internet.
Yeah, it started as like there was some sort of contest or something that an artist did a rendering or something like that for a meme contest or something like
right,
that.
but then it took some sort of like kind of like urban legend.
Yeah, people
like,
kind of took to it and thought, "Wow, that was really creepy."
yeah.
And then they turned it into like this urban legend thing. And then there was that whole story where those 2 young girls
They
lured
killed their friend.
Yeah, they lured another girl into the woods and stabbed her to death.
And they said that they had to do it because the Slender
Slender
Man.
Man,
And,
yeah.
I was like, what the hell's a Slender Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I forget what I was watching, and I just saw as like Slender Man. I was like, oh, what is this something still about that case? And I was like, oh, it's a movie coming up.
movie,
I was
yeah.
like, I watched it. I was like, that looks pretty creepy.
You know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit, the Slender Man, is what was the movie? What was that horror movie? The Babadook?
Babadook.
Was that the one where the guy got like really tall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was kinda weird. He was, like,
I still
tall
don't
and
think I've
skinny.
seen that one. I've passed by it on Netflix
Really?
numerous times. I don't think I've watched it. You said it was good, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's
yeah.
like a kid's book, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it still is on Netflix, but I just haven't watched it.
And the thing is, I was trying to remember: was it the Babadook or was it one of those?
Sinister.
Yeah, it might have been just one scene.
Yeah, it was
where
just
the
a
kid
scene
just
where
saw-
like
yeah, and he got like really tall.
it was either Babadook or what was that other?
Well, Sinister was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The
but
one
not
with
Sinister.
Ethan-
But what was that other movie with Annabelle and all that were in it? The first.
Conjuring?
Conjuring, yeah. It was one of them where there was like a possession thing or something, and a kid. I remember seeing there was a tent and the little toy
That was Conjuring
fire engine.
2.
All right, so that's what it was. The tent and the toy went into it, and then like the ghost or whatever came out and was like long arms
Yes.
and legs.
Yes.
That made me think of Slender Man when I saw that in the movies, and now they got Slender Man movie coming out, and
Yeah, in the trailer, you don't, other than that one like long, far off shot in the woods, you don't really see a whole lot of the Slender Man. So
yeah,
do we actually know what he looks like other than like the shadow of him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
they've-
does
they've-
faceless.
yeah,
right?
they've done like pictures and drawings and stuff. So he's got no face, but he's very long arms and legs, very tall,
Huh. So he'd be like the mortician from Phantasm, but without a face.
without a face. Yeah, he's the tall man without a
The
face.
tall man without a face. Yeah, I think it looks that comes out next month. I think February.
I believe you're right. I don't remember the date.
There's
though.
quite a few decent ones coming out. I think first quarter.
Fox did announce, or Disney Fox, I guess they did announce this week they're shifting around the release dates for the New Mutants, the horror spin. So they're
Okay.
changing that date up, but I don't remember how far they pushed it back.
Hmm.
But they did push it back, and they have also pushed back Deadpool 2 and something else. Yeah,
Oh.
so
They want to probably push him out for the summer.
yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're pushed all the dates for a bunch of movies, which kind of bummed me out because I was really looking
Yeah.
forward to the New Mutants.
I was looking forward to the new Deadpool too. I mean, that
Yeah,
was supposed to
new
be out, I
Deadpool.
think, in March.
Yep. Yeah, but I think they pushed them all out. They swapped a bunch around and pushed the ones I was waiting for back a little further.
They did it on purpose.
Oh, surely.
Like, what movies is Sal waiting on?
Yeah, yeah. That
Push that
bastard.
back.
We'll
Push
make him
that
wait.
back.
Yeah, but New Mutants definitely looks good. And I did read. I got to find the article, but I did read about someone that got a sneak peek of some of it and said the horror spin on it is fantastic and was
Yeah.
a perfect idea for it, and really made it parts of it terrifying. And I
Nice.
thought, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that they would take
Yeah.
that angle?
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't recall like New Mutants really being that horrific, but the characters definitely had the ability to be something scary. So I'm looking forward to that. Slenderman I'm looking forward to also, but it seems like it's so old now.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
the whole legend, the whole internet meme thing that went on with Slenderman, and
Oh, it's
now
probably
it's-
5 or 6 years old. now,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's kind of late to come up with the story, and then the question is it the right time considering the kids and that death that happened? Is this the right time to release a movie about that?
Yeah.
Like,
Too soon.
yeah,
they don't care.
yeah. I think it's all about money, really.
Yeah,
And then the other thing I want to talk about is we, after watching 1922, we watched some trailers for Agony, that new horror video game. And I said it reminds me a lot of my favorite PlayStation 3 game, which was Dante's Inferno.
Yep.
Which is based
That
on...
was one of my favorite PS3 games.
Yeah, it's probably probably my second favorite. My very first favorite on that one was Warhawk, and then it would be Dante's Inferno, and then Burnout Paradise because I like racing games.
Not God of War. I love God of War.
God of War was good, but God of War 3 was my favorite of the three of them. Yeah,
that's getting re-released, I believe, for the new.
They're coming out with a new God of War too.
yeah, they have
PS4.
God of War 4, where he's like an old man now.
Yeah.
and got a kid
That
or
looks
something
really
like
good.
that.
Yeah, the Agony
yeah.
trailer was well, it was
Extremely
gameplay. We
trippy,
watched some
right?
gameplay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was extremely trippy, but also like it's like a guy getting depressed watching a video
It
game.
was very gory.
Yeah.
And I like... See, that's the thing. Nowadays, with the power of computers and game consoles, they're so overpowered now. You can really get some gross textures.
Yeah, and
out of
I
games
bet I
like
was going
that.
to say that's a game you want to wear headphones for, probably.
Yeah,
too,
the
just-
sound.
Yeah.
I bet you there's going to be a lot of like Christian parents that are going to be like up in arms over that.
Yeah,
game.
they
I
were
mean,
over Dante's Inferno too.
But I mean, and I remember Dante's Inferno, and like you said, it was similar, but this just is again the figuring the graphic upgrades that we've seen in the last when was that, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Dante's Inferno? Wow, it was longer than that.
Really?
Yeah, it was the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
It
So,
was
I mean, it's
2008 maybe.
So I mean,
It's almost 10 years ago.
watching that game, I was like, can you imagine like some kid like says he's going over to Billy's house to play this game, and a parent wants to see what it is their kids.
Well, and then you have those parents that are kind of just disconnected, and my son will come to me like, "Hey, can I buy this game?" Yeah, here's $20.
yeah.
You know, and they come
20.
back. Yeah,
Here's
$100.
$100.
Here's $50. Well, it depends. Like if he gets it on Steam, Steam is like cheap, but they sell you tons. You have to buy tons of loot boxes and stuff to get some.
Okay.
But yeah, so you give him $50, and he goes and comes back with this game of.
Sits in his room like
yeah.
like worshiping Satan.
Yeah, it's like what the hell?
Next thing you find your cat hanging outside
Yeah.
your kid's bedroom door with like all kinds of weird like hieroglyphics written on your door.
And the thing about it is, it seems that the thing that makes the organizations, those Christian organizations and parent organizations, really uproars if you involve Satan, because like that's what Dante's Inferno did. And Dante's Inferno got a lot of flack for the aborted babies at the beginning of the game. So if you involve dead babies and Satan, it's like a recipe for disaster.
and then just throw some boobs in there.
yeah,
somewhere, too.
and that's pretty much what Agony is.
And throw some boobs in
Agony
there.
is like boobs, Satan, and then there was a scene where, and I don't know if we saw it in the gameplay, but I saw it in the trailer. The one guy was like playing it, and he turns and looks out this like portal inside this cave, and then there's a demon that comes up, and he starts laying rocks to close off the cave, and as the mortar in between the rocks, he put dead babies. It was like a baby, and then a rock, and then there was a baby, and then a rock, and he was like putting babies in between the rocks. I was like, yeah, that's gonna piss people off.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
Well, I mean, if you're using the dead babies as mortar, at least you're not just throwing them out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they're being
they have a
put to
purpose.
use.
Yeah,
Like it's one thing to just throw them in the trash after you abort them, but if you're using them
for mortar to hold, hold a wall together.
yeah, maybe that's okay.
yeah. So
Waste
I'm,
not, want not.
I'm pretty sure that they're gonna get some
Yeah.
flack for that.
It's funny because like when I grew up, my mom like tried to be religious, and so we would bring home like rock music, and we would get all kinds of stuff about like the lyrics and stuff of rock music and Satan and stuff like that. So now I don't know, it's just like a vestigial thing in me that I like every time I see something like that or hear a song, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna upset some Christian parents.
That's funny too, because when I was a kid, I listened to the stuff. But the funny thing is, I never listened to any of the lyrics. I was more of listening to the music. I enjoyed the music. And I couldn't tell you what they were singing about. Really, I never really
Listen to the
paid
guitar,
attention.
the drums,
Yeah.
the bass. I was always big on bass.
Like I would care less what they were singing
now
about.
that I'm older, I listen to lyrics a lot more. But yeah, as a kid, I never really paid much attention to lyrics. Did it sound good?
Yeah, I was the other way around. I listened to lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I remember when King Diamond when them came out, I was like the lyrics just blew me away. So
Yeah.
I was a lyrics guy. I don't know why. I like the guitar too. Like I guess you could classify some of the music I listen to as like horror music, right? Black
Yeah, King
metal,
Diamond
death
is-
metal,
Yeah,
that
for
stuff
sure.
is
Doom metal.
Singing
Yeah,
about
doom
the
metal.
Salem witch trials, right? Was
Yep.
it
Yeah.
Abigail.
Yeah, Abigail, I the Witch.
Yep.
But this was like demons and hell and a possessed house and drinking blood, and it was like When my mom saw it, she was like, "What are you listening to?"
Yeah, like I think that's where like I kind of like I like metal, and I was into like speed metal, kind of like early Metallica and like Megadeth. That was considered like speed metal, right? Like if like it was heavy metal, but that was
speed or thrash.
but
I
like
think it was called.
like and
yeah.
I liked Slayer, which was more like death metal ish.
Yeah, that was a different.
But then when you moved into like doom metal, like Cannibal Corpse and like I don't know. I think because I could never understand what the hell they were saying at all. So I guess I was sort of listening to the lyrics.
yeah,
Like it was just like I'm like
yeah.
I don't even understand.
Well,
what
that's the
he's-
thing with Cannibal Corpse. When their first album came out, what was it called? Eaten Back to Life. That was their first album. I remember listening to the lyrics of the first song, and everyone's like, "I can't hear what he's saying." Oh, I hear what he's saying. That's
Rigor
gross as
Mortis,
hell.
I think, was out before Cannibal Corpse. Now you could understand Rigor Mortis a little bit better,
Yeah, Rigor
but I
Mortis
think that was
different.
like the transition between.
Well, actually, I think even in between there, like after Rigor Mortis, you had what was that? Carcass.
Yeah.
Remember Carcass? Their first album, I remember buying the cassette, and the whole cover was like dismembered body parts, photographs of dismembered body parts, and the name of the album was "Reek of Putrefaction," and they had song lyrics on it. Like one of the tracks was called "Vomited Anal Track." It was like all this gross like cannibal stuff. I'm like, what the hell? And I remember that was like before Cannibal Corpse. It was like Rigor Mortis, and then you quickly to Carcass, and then Cannibal Corpse. And everything became about eating people, and
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah, and it wasn't anything like it wasn't that I'm not sure exactly what it was. I just wasn't my thing. That's where I drew the line. I was like, okay, it's not my thing.
I loved
Like,
it. It was great.
And I got a buddy that you'd probably enjoy hanging out with, who's really he does like the metal like cruises and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
And a
cool.
lot of the like bands he puts up there, I'm like, I have no idea who they are, dude. And that's the kind of stuff it is. I'm like, I like metal. It's just you got to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And I tried it, wasn't my thing.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys. Mr. Pickles are doing an Adult Swim's Mr. Pickles Thrash Tour.
What?
Yep. So it's Exodus, Municipal Waste, and another band
It's Mr. Pickles.
doing Mr. Pickles songs.
Did you start watching the new season?
I did. I finished season 2.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
We're only 3 episodes into it.
I freaking love it. Season 2 is the best. And you know what? In season 2, there's a Municipal Waste song, and there's another Cannabis Corpse song.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that they've brought Steve the Gimp more into the.
He has a major role near the end of the season. Yeah.
Well, they started introducing him more so like the first season. You just kind of saw him like peek his head out of the
Yeah,
door
yeah.
and then go back in.
So you didn't see the River of Blood yet?
No,
Wait,
no.
wait till the end of the season. It's crazy. It gets out of control.
It's kind of like I think we've had this conversation before, but I think it's almost the same thing with me. It's like sensory overload watching that show because it's like this.
The first 3 times I watched it, it was like, what? I can't even get my head around
Yeah.
what's going on. It's like made for people with short attention spans.
And it's kind of funny if you watch numerous episodes in a row, your brain kind of adjusts to the show.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll
you-
give it a shot.
If you
you
just
like
watch
get into
one,
a groove. Yeah.
I sat there after the first. I'm like, I think I feel a little nauseous. Like, I'm not
What
really
channel's Mr. Pickles on?
It's Adult Swim and Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's late.
But
at
it's
night.
also on Hulu. If you have Hulu, you can watch the whole first season. And
They
I
have
think-
season 1 and 2 are both on Hulu now, and from what I read, 2 more seasons are coming.
really.
Yeah.
There's enough people that watch that
Yes.
show.
Wow.
I
Yes.
figured when I watched the first season, I'm like, all right, this is probably a one and done.
The best thing about it is like it's the old school Adult Swim. I don't know if you remember, like early Adult
Oh, yeah.
Swim was
Like with
15
Frisky
minutes.
Dingo
Yeah, they
and-
were 15-minute cartoons.
Yeah.
that was it.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I mean, those were
Yeah.
only like 15
Yep, 15
minutes.
That was
Yeah.
that was their gimmick. You know, a quick cartoon that was really
Mhm.
over the top. And Mr. Pickles is like in that same tradition. It's 15 minutes long.
And it's way over the top.
Yeah, it's way over the top.
It's kind of funny too because my daughter started picking out like recurring characters and like you and sometimes you'll see the characters just have a bit part but they're in the background doing something. She's like, hey, there's that old lady who like collects trash and tries to sell it to people. I'm like, oh yeah, she wasn't there. She didn't really have a main role in this one, but
She's a character in town.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I like the is he the sheriff, the old black guy with the dreads in his hair?
No, the sheriff is the dude on roller
Oh,
skates.
wait, no,
all the
he
time.
runs like he's got like a cart or something.
Yeah, that's
like-
being pulled by like bulldogs or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Hey, what do you say there, young player?
yeah, yeah. I don't think he's the mayor, is he? He might be the mayor.
I don't know. Yeah, that's right. The sheriff's
Yeah,
kind
the
of like
sheriff is the one with the roller skates, and the
Yeah.
mayor is the black guy.
Yeah, you gotta check it
I
out, man.
will.
It's
I'll
it's
give
like
it a
a
shot.
cross between horror and
It's really
Comedy.
gory. Like it's over the top gory. They constantly like body parts and stuff.
yeah, Mr. Pickles like killed a prostitute and then he like stuck his feet inside her legs.
and walked around like walking around like corpse. He was like dressed up as the prostitute.
Yeah, but he's he's a demonic dog, but he only does good.
So they
like,
just started season 2.
They finished it, so
They
season
finished
3
it.
is coming out.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, if you have Hulu, you can get all season 1 and 2.
he's a
as well
good
up there.
demonic dog.
Yeah, good boy, Mr. Pickles.
Good dog.
Yeah, Mr. Pickles. Yeah, I freaking love that show, and I think I told you I had a date that I brought over one night,
He
and
showed it to her.
yeah, we were watching a movie, and when we were done, I was like, she likes the kind of music I like, and
Okay.
stuff, and I go, you got to see Mr. Pickles, and then I showed her like the first 2 episodes, and
Did she
she's
take it the wrong way when you said you got to see Mr. Pickles?
like, no. I explained, no, Mr. Pickles is not my junk. Mr. Pickles
He's a dog. He's a
is
good dog.
a good boy.
So what'd she say?
The first episode, she was like, what just happened?
Yeah, and I think that's when because my daughter said, "Dad, we should check out this Mr. Pickles show. It looks like something we would like." I'm like, "Okay, let's check it out." And we watched the first episode, and her and I just looked at each other. I'm like,
What was
"I
that?
feel kind of sick." I think she's like, "Yeah, I don't know what that was. Should we watch another episode?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
And the thing is, it's always the episodes are always, Billy has no idea what the hell's going on. Grandpa has a clue, but Mr. Pickles is trying to sabotage that. It's like
And
this-
mom and dad are also like kind of clueless.
Yeah.
and I think that the fat guy who is the dad's like cubicle pal.
Yeah,
He put on some weight.
Yeah, he was eating mayonnaise.
which was surprising because he was gigantic in the first season, and then
Yeah.
and I saw him this season. I'm like, he put on weight.
Yeah, much larger. Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. And again, I think it classifies kind of as horror because
Absolutely.
it's got demons
gore.
in it.
Yeah,
and
it's
there's
gore.
gore.
Do you
Yeah.
have
demons.
to see the first episode?
No,
you
yeah, I
just
mean,
sort of jump
it's
into
kind of
it.
nice because again, the characters they replay over and over again. But
Well,
you
I
could,
will say that there is a storyline there.
and there's recurring themes.
Right, but as you get to the end of season 2, you start to understand like
Okay.
there's one theme in the every show about Mr. Pickles and how it ends.
Yeah.
How he kills somebody and takes them into the doghouse.
With Steve.
Right, but then you figure out because I don't know if you noticed it at the end of every episode,
They go back down to the doghouse and there's
and
more
you
people
see the other people that he's been killing.
down there
Right,
hanging
so
out at the bar.
right as you get to the end of season 2, they kind of reveal what the hell's
Oh,
going
all
on.
right, all right.
And you're like, holy shit, this is a crazy show.
Yeah,
It's
because we're only
crazy.
I think 3 episodes into season 2. Because
the
again,
end of season 2 will just blow your mind. You'll be like, what the fuck?
Maybe I'll see if I can get her to watch an episode. With
My only thought was, who the hell writes this shit?
Yeah.
Who did you check to see who the writer?
No, I didn't even bother.
B. Alzabub
Yeah.
and Lucifer.
Yeah, I tell you, they are. It's a great show. Definitely worth watching, and it takes a while to get used to. I honestly, when you told me to check it out, the first 2 episodes was a turnoff because it's just too much shit coming at
Yeah,
you.
it really is.
Yeah,
But then I was like, let's watch another one, and then you kind of get into the characters, and you kind of get used to what they're doing. And
if you watch a couple episodes in a row, like they're 15 minutes each, so you watch 4 episodes, it kind of you get into a mental groove where like you can start
your
understanding.
brain kind of
yeah.
functions properly on it.
Yeah, it starts to understand that it's being bombarded with images of craziness, and you can kind of put it together. But at first, I thought, nah, I don't have like this is for people with ADD and short attention spans. Is what I thought. But after finishing it, I loved it. I love it. It's good.
Okay, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next 2 seasons. Anything else interesting going on in the horror world?
Did you guys see Get Out?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it
I
yet.
saw it.
So it was nominated at the Golden Globes.
Got
Was it?
snubbed. Got
I know,
snubbed.
but it was nominated, which
Yeah.
is it's a nice little foot in the door
Yep.
It is.
that they're giving nods to some horror. Now they don't. People were saying they don't really classify it as a horror movie.
It was a horror. It wasn't a traditional horror, but it was. I mean, like as you're watching it, like again, it's a dreadful movie. There's a feeling of dread that sneaks upon you when you figure out what is going on, and it's creepy throughout. I mean, because you're not really sure what's happening,
Yeah,
and then when you finally figure out what's happening, you're like, holy
Yeah,
shit,
crazy.
really? So.
yeah.
have
We
to
won't
watch
spoil
it.
it, but you'll have to watch it.
And I was telling him, I don't know if I told you this. I just watched Don't Hang Up with Maya.
Okay.
And it's
I have that one on the
it's
list.
good, really
to
good.
watch. Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised.
That's
by
actually on Amazon.
by how
Believe it or not.
good
I
it
know
was.
you guys were.
no, but I think I had to rent it. I don't think
Okay.
it was like $3.99 I think to rent it, but it was good. She liked it because it's 2 high school kids making prank phone calls, and she recognized the kids from other stuff.
Yeah, no,
so
it got good reviews.
good.
That's why I put it on my
I
watch
liked it.
list.
And in the end, you're kind of like, oh crap! All right, yeah, good story and good horror.
I used Golden Globes to make me decide to go see The Shape of Water. I went to see it
Okay,
because
How
it won
was it?
Best Director
Yeah.
and Best Original Soundtrack.
it looks good.
Yeah.
Is it? It's a monster, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
Like a sea monster, like a creature from the
it's
Black
like
Lagoon. or-
Creature from the Black Lagoon. Exactly. It's like to me, it's like Creature of the Black Lagoon meets Cinderella. Yeah, it's like
Weird.
it's very weird, but it was good.
Yeah,
I loved. I
it's
loved
one of
it. I
those
thought
ones
it
I'll
was
probably
great.
wait till it comes out on like Netflix.
Yeah,
or,
it's not really a horror movie, but it definitely is sci-fi, and it definitely has some gore in it and stuff. But it's not typical of like a
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro movie, you know. But it was very good. It was worth seeing. I was glad. I saw why he got Best Director. It was really.
Yeah, I remember. I actually just flipped on for that, and I saw him up there talking, and I was like, he looks like Peter Jackson ish, but
That's the man, Guillermo del Toro. There's a really great because he used to do Spanish movies mostly.
well, he did
I remember
Crimson Peak.
Pan's
too.
Labyrinth. I
Yeah.
remember watching.
and that
Pan's
sort of
Labyrinth,
got
Crimson
some
Peak.
nods too. I think
that
didn't
was
it?
subtitles, wasn't it? Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He also he did one called.
the Orphanage. Was that him too?
I saw that. That wasn't bad.
The one called the Devil's Handbook. I can't remember, but it was a Spanish one with all
Yeah.
subtitles, but it was really freaking good.
Yeah, it's my problem. I have a hard time. It's got to be a slow paced movie for me to watch subtitles. Like if it's an
Yeah.
action movie.
Yeah,
or,
like the Let the Right One In. Remember that?
Yeah,
one?
that was
Yeah.
great.
And that was
one
slow.
of my
And
favorites.
that was slow enough.
like Pan's Labyrinth was kind of slow enough that you didn't. It wasn't that big of a deal that it was. I've tried to watch. Kung fu movies don't really need much of the language anyway. But
Yeah, I watch a couple of Indian movies, and it's hard to read the subtitles and see what
pay
the hell's
atten-
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah, there was an Indian horror movie that got some good
Yeah?
reviews. I didn't watch it. Yeah, just because of the subtitle thing.
Yeah.
I watch Indian comedies. It's just hard to read them. And my daughter gets pissed whenever subtitles come on. She, I don't want to read. Really? It's good. It's worth reading.
It was great back in the day when you could like rent the DVD and it would like give you the option of doing subtitles or like dubbed, and you
Yep.
could just watch. It was shitty dubbing, but at least you could understand what the hell they were saying.
Yeah. So what? I think we need to look at some additional horror movies on Netflix, right? There's The
Yeah, that one-
Babysitter. Have you seen that one yet?
No, my daughter watched it. That was straight to Netflix, right?
Yeah,
It had
that was a Netflix original
The
picture.
redhead from like Disney in it.
Yep.
And she also was on. She was like I think in the first or 2 episodes of Scream on MTV.
Yeah,
But my daughter said it was really good. She liked
yeah.
it. She said it
I
was
haven't
funny.
seen it. Yeah, it's like it's supposed to be like a B horror kind of comedy thing.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
No.
Yeah, so we should watch that then.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe we'll get together and watch that one
Yeah,
because I
that'll
haven't
work.
seen it either.
Or
so-
I'll,
Yeah.
maybe I'll subscribe to Netflix too.
Or-
You guys are talking me into it. And like I said, just I hate keep bringing up Golden Globes, but a lot of things won from Netflix.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Netflix. I just read the article this morning. They were saying it's the amount of money that they spent this year and the amount they brought in. They're
And I
number
was
3 in
impressed with
production.
1922, and you said he's got some more movies coming.
Yep.
Yeah, and Ozark was
A whole
phenomenal.
bunch?
That was a good show.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's definitely on my list. I have so many things on my list
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I mean, there's so much. Like, oh my god, I have to like just cut off my life for like 2 weeks and just sit and watch. I'm not a binge watcher either. Like my daughter can sit in her bedroom for like 8 hours straight and just
No, I
watch
got, like,
stuff.
My daughter does
Maybe
that.
I can
2 episodes
Yeah.
at the most.
if it's
3.
an hour program, I can watch maybe
2.
1,
Yeah.
2's pushing it. If it's a half an hour, I can usually knock out like 2 or 3. But I can't just sit there all day long.
Nope.
Even when I'm like home, like sick or something like that. Like I'll watch a couple episodes. I'm like, I gotta watch something else or read something or get up or.
Yep.
I'm not a binge watcher.
Yeah, yeah. Hulu has a lot of great original stuff too, like that Stephen King movie 6/22/63 or whatever. The where the guy goes back in time to try to prevent the Kennedy assassination.
I remember seeing the trailer for that.
Yeah, it was what's his name was the main actor. That guy that just got in trouble for sexual assault.
Oh well, shit.
Kevin
Could be like
Spacey?
one of like 50 people.
Yeah,
James Franco.
James Franco. Yeah, that was him.
Oh, did Franco get?
Just-
Yeah, just yesterday.
yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
he won. He won
Yeah. Well,
the
that's what
season.
started it because he had the pin on,
Oh, yeah.
and some girl called him out for wearing the pin.
Yeah, and then after her, all of a sudden there was like 3 more, and then after that, he went on TV last night trying to say,
Colbert, I think, right?
yeah, and he said some shit, and now all of a sudden 8 other girls came out, and it's like, oh man, now he's really, and it turns out he did sleazy shit, like the sex scenes where the women wear the plastic vagina cover, he would like take it off of them during the sex scenes, or like when there was sex scene where like it was simulated oral sex, he would whip his actual dick out and then shove a girl's head towards it.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, all right, great guy,
Yep.
fantastic.
Yeah, I liked James
There
Franco
goes
too.
those
damn
I
it.
know. I was
stoner
like,
movies.
son of a bitch. I was fucking. It's
With
almost
Rogan, right?
You know, I think
yeah,
that
it's almost as bad as Louis. Like when I heard about. Oh my god!
the
after-
last straw will be for me Tom Hanks. If Tom Hanks, someone comes out and starts saying,
Oh,
something,
God.
that'll be it for me. I'll be done.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, that's not going to be. I don't think. You know, I saw an interview with him talking about it, so I don't think. It seems that what's happening now is if someone comes out talking anti-harassment and they're guilty, they're going to get called out on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So if you're
Not
guilty,
so fast, Tom.
yeah. So all those guys out there that are keeping it secret, just shut your mouth. Because if you don't say that you support, you're wear the pin or say that oh yeah we got to prevent this stuff, and you're guilty, you're gonna be another James Franco. It's gonna wreck it. But he was the star of that movie, or it was a mini series, right? A TV series, like
Yeah.
multiple episodes. I think it was in total it was like 12 hours
Mhm.
of a movie, more or less, right? And I love that. I love that long form because if you go to sit for a movie for 2 hours, they can only fit so much in there.
Yeah.
But if they do a series where it's 8 1-hour episodes or 12 1-hour episodes, that's fantastic.
Well, that's why I like the Marvel shows on Netflix too, because you get more character development. You actually care about the
Yep.
superheroes or their friends or whatever.
Yep. So it's like
Do we go over time again?
nope.
No?
There's a lot of time left.
Oh, really?
No.
10 minutes.
15 almost.
Oh.
So
Edit this out.
what was I saying? Oh yeah. So that James Franco movie, like the 8 hours or whatever, it was really good. It's worth watching, you know, even though James Franco now turns out to be a scumbag. But it's a Stephen King story. It's not really horror, but it's the same kind of Stephen King story where there's like a negative twist inside the story that really was pretty good. It's pretty good.
So how many Stephen King movies are going to be out on Netflix? Do you know?
I think he signed a deal for 6 or 8 or something. I
Okay,
have to look
nice.
it up again, but it's a significant number. And he's doing a TV show also, an original show for Hulu, I believe it is. Yeah.
Now, is it all Stephen King stuff, or are they going to throw some Bachman stuff in there too?
He's mixing and matching Stephen King and Richard Bachman
Nice.
stuff. Yeah. And I'm wondering like how good his son's books are, because now I see he's co-writing with his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think his son was it Owen that wrote a book, and Stephen King also wrote it.
Oh, that's
so-
right. Didn't he originally like give something else as his name because he didn't want people to sign him
Yeah.
because of his
Yep,
because of who
because
his dad
of
was?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. I remember seeing something about that, and I don't remember what his alias was, but
I don't remember either, but I did read it. I did see an interview on YouTube of Stephen King saying, "Hey, my son's work is actually really good." So he wrote a book with him, and they just released it. And I thought, well, maybe we'll get to see original TV shows and movies from his son and him now. Would be interesting. And I'm looking forward to. Oh, by the way, guys, Pet Cemetery.
yeah,
It's gonna be down at
did
the
it tri-
Steel Stacks.
Oh wait, I was gonna say there's a remake.
They're
coming
doing a
out.
remake, yep. But the
Uh,
original is playing down at Steel Stacks, I
What-
think, in February.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me and my friends used to get together like once a month on a Friday night and sit around and watch that and just so
There's a lot of nostalgia.
yeah,
at
it's a
least for
shitty
me,
it's a
like
shitty
watching
movie.
it. Yeah.
It's a shitty
We
movie.
used to make fun of Fred Gwynn just because he was
Lois.
Harmon Monster. So we used to do like his.
I'll do it, Lois.
So his one-liners from the movie, we used to get a chuckle at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should go down to Steel Stacks maybe and see that. And I think there's another because they're still doing the first Saturday horror. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. I don't know what the next.
It's
3
kind of cool because, like, growing up, like Saturday afternoons were like all the old horror movies were
Yeah.
on, television, and that's where I kind of got into it.
And I
Like,
didn't go to the theater to see. I mean, I think I did go to the theater to see Pet Cemetery,
I don't think I did.
I didn't.
but
no.
a lot of those horror movies I watched on VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I went to the video store and rented.
Yeah, but
Yep.
that's the thing is that was during like the peak of VHS tapes.
Yep.
I remember there was this place in town called the Video Caboose, and we'd go in there and just anything in the horror section, we just pick it up, bring it home.
Yeah,
I
seen a
remember
lot
seeing
of-
some really shitty.
Yeah.
You probably
movies.
blew through everything too.
I've
right?
seen a lot of bad horror movies. Remember this one was called Stuff Stephanie the Incinerator? And, yeah, and there was no girl named Stephanie in the entire movie.
Nice.
It was, we would just try to find ones that this sounds like it would be cool, and you get home and you watch, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, they always draw the picture, the poster on it looks so awesome, and then you would watch it like, what is this? I remember The Gate. Do you see The Gate?
Yeah. The little
gate
claymation guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little monsters.
Yeah.
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 But like the cover made it look like real scary, but it
Yeah.
was really pretty
Cheesy.
crappily
Yeah.
done. It
Yep.
was really cheesy. There was also like what's his name? Did a bunch of direct to videotapes too. God, what the guy that did Wes Craven? Wes Craven.
Oh,
he
yeah.
did Deadly Friend. Do you remember?
Oh
that one?
yeah, I remember
That was a
that.
really
Yeah.
cheesy horror
Yeah, the
movie.
girl, like next door neighbor girl.
Yeah, he did that, and I remember watching those kind of horror movies
Yeah.
all the time. Chopping Mall.
Yep.
There was tons of them. Sleepaway Camp.
Oh yeah.
Used to watch all those on VHS all the time.
But yeah, like I said, it'll be fun to see some of these on the big screen.
Yeah. Last weekend, which unfortunately I couldn't go, I would have pinged you guys about it, but Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist,
yeah,
was
see.
down at the Steel Stacks. Yeah.
Yeah, I was my my nephew turned 18 last
That
weekend.
one I
so
saw
was
in the movie
I was in
theater.
Jersey.
Poltergeist I saw in the movie theater.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. What year did that come out? Was that like 84, 85?
Mm.
Might be.
Yeah, maybe 84.
I was too young, I think.
Yeah.
I saw it on HBO, I think was the first time I ever saw it. When I was
Yeah.
a kid, my parents had HBO, so I got to watch movies
Yeah.
after they were out of the theater there.
No, HBO was good as a kid.
Yeah.
I
All right.
saw that they're doing a sequel. Did we talk about this? Damn old age.
For what?
Zombieland.
Oh yeah.
Zombieland sequel.
You know, they've been writing and going on and off with that for years.
I really liked the first one. I thought it was a great,
Oh, yeah.
great
I
concept.
really wish. I think they've lost the momentum though. It's been too long. They should have really done something closer.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of like The Strangers. I mean, the
Yeah.
original was out like what 10 years ago.
yeah,
Maybe.
now there's suddenly a sequel. Makes you wonder: is the momentum still there? Is it still going to be that good?
Yeah, and like I said, I think we discussed it last time. Is like The Strangers. I don't know that it'll carry over
Yeah,
to the second one. I don't
Yeah.
know that it's going to have as much thunder.
Yeah,
I mean the previews looked pretty good, but we'll see. I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the Zombieland I've been waiting for forever. That movie was great. I love it.
Yeah.
I still watch it every now and then. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's really a good movie. The storyline was great, and all the actors were fantastic. in
Yeah,
it.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it had some great comedic scenes, and
Bill Murray.
yeah, the Bill Murray stuff was just fantastic, especially when they were acting out like the Ghostbusters stuff.
Yeah.
in his living room.
Yeah, and I liked too where was it Jesse Eisenberg, I think, when he would like talk about his plans, like the steps.
Yes,
and they would actually
yes.
show, like, I like where they
Yeah,
would show
like in
like
3D.
Yeah.
yeah. Rule number 35: always check the back seat. Yeah, that was a great show, and I don't think they can. I don't think the magic will be there for a second one. And think about it. Think about how much older everyone is going to be. All the actors and
Yeah.
actresses.
true.
So it's not like they're going to be, oh, well, this is the next day. No, it's going to be years later.
Yeah, the hot girl's not going to be so hot anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not going to be. It's not going to be the same thing. Even the
Think zombies are losing their thunder too? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
He said ratings on Walking Dead are down.
Yeah, well, that's because all the changes this season and the shift in action has really kind of thrown people a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I just didn't know if because zombies, I had the market flooded. I mean, everything was zombie. This,
Well-
zombie that.
I think what The Walking Dead had that was good was the storyline was good, and unfortunately, what I think is happening is, what season are we at? 8.
Yeah, I think.
It's only so much that people are going to really take. And the thing is, the comic book is still going, but I think they kind of need to cut the show off because it's not going to go. It's not like a comic book. It's not sitting down and reading it monthly. It's these season after season of story after story, and they're catching up to where the comic book is at now.
Yeah.
So, it might be time to say goodbye to.
There are
Walking
some.
Dead.
One of the ones we should probably watch together. I've seen it before, and I think I've told you guys about it, but I don't know if you watched it. It's Zombies.
Yeah, you said about that.
It
one.
is an amazing B zombie movie, and it's just it kind of reminds me. Remember the first Return of the Living Dead?
Yeah,
It was horror but kind of campy,
Yes.
and there was a lot of like cool like comedy stuff.
Yeah,
to it.
it was a great movie.
That's what this is like. It's nuclear waste that like seeps into like the local beer supply, and these kids drink it, and so there's two different parts to the movie, black and white and in color, and depending on whose point of view you're seeing the movie through, that's what the movie
So you
is.
see it from the zombie point of view.
Right. So
cool.
the kids are actually the zombies, but they think everybody else are the zombies. And so it's really good.
All right, we definitely should watch that one. Put that on the list too.
And they don't realize it until like later that they're the zombies, and they're trying to figure out how to stop everyone else from being zombies. And there's a lot of funny shit that happens to them because they don't realize they're zombies.
Yeah, it sounds good. I think we should add
So
that
it's
to the list.
A-
What is that?
AH?
I think it's
Aw.
AHH.
Okay.
Is
Dot
it-
dot dot zombies.
Where's it at? Is it Netflix or
You know,
Hulu?
it bounces around. I've seen it on Netflix and I've seen it on Amazon. I think the last time I saw it was Amazon Prime. I
Okay.
think
I have Amazon Prime. I'll have to check it out.
it's. I guarantee you'll enjoy it.
Excellent. Good. That's awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. I think we're going to call it a show.
All right.
Excellent.
Still a little bit short, huh?
Yeah.
I was like thinking we were over again because we kind of went off on a few different like non-horror tangents there.